Hey, this is George.
Hey, this is Frank.
This is Real Talk with George and Frazier. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, brother. Just chilling. Man, do you see the other fight they were talking about?
What up?
Okasico. I call him Chad Johnson, but fighting the other guy who you think to be knuckle boxer fighter, and man, he's not Okasico down. If you actually look at it, I would say more of a momentum thing versus actual knockout. That's what I would say.
For
I
Ocho
mean,
Cinco?
yeah, he did better than Nate though. He did better than Nate though. I ain't gonna lie, he did better than Nate though.
Look, the problem is
He,
this. If we're going to talk about fighting, the problem is this. Okay. Is my screen freezing? Because I got you on the little
you
pause.
good? No, you
Is that
good. We
me?
get this conversation. It ain't
Okay.
English. You get over here. It's bad. You go take this one now.
All right. Well, look at here. Okay. When the internet goes out, it's not my fault. I don't know if you know this or not, but there's been internet blackouts throughout the country. I'm
Oh
saying
yeah.
that to say that if that happens, that's not me. But the bottom line is, these guys think that they can come in and walk into a space and they can't. So we will definitely continue that conversation. We want to right now bring in our guest.
Oh yeah. It gonna be a good one.
So
Hello.
definitely is. Hello, welcome to
Hi,
Real Talk. How are you?
How are you
I'm
doing?
doing I'm doing wonderful. How about you too?
We're
We're
doing
doing
great.
good.
Thanks for being on the show. Listen, Fraser and I didn't even want to attempt your name because we knew we were going to butcher it. So if you would just tell the listeners your
Oh.
name, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. So it's Petria Kolibova and it's going to change because I just got married this Sunday. So it's going to be easier.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you.
All right, Peta, right? Or Petra?
Petya.
Petia.
Yeah,
There we go. See, I got it
I
now.
like that better.
Petia.
I ain't learned how to sound better. I will pronounce the first name. I like that better. Patia. See?
You
Beautiful,
got it.
beautiful, beautiful. Well, again, thank you for being on the show. Tell the fans and the listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Absolutely. Straight to the point. I love that. So it's interesting, like when people ask you, what do you do? For me, it's more about who am I being, right? Because my whole life, I was just doing things and I was doing all the right things, like going to school, getting my bachelor's, getting my master's, working in a corporate, getting married. So everything, I was doing all the right things and it just didn't feel right to me. And my life started to change when I started to change who am I being?
Right.
Who am I being in this world? So what changed with me was starting to investing in my personal growth, setting boundaries, and really realizing unapologetically who I am and what do I stand for in this world. Because when I got really clear on what do I stand for, everything started to line up. Everything started to line up for me that felt right to me instead of the things that I should be doing, right?
Right.
So that helped me to get into the person who am I being now. I'm a life coach and business coach for women. I'm traveling the world, hosting retreats. Like I said, I got second as the charm. I'm saying and declaring it, happily married now, and working only with my soulmate clients. So I feel that it's more about who we are being versus what we are doing. And it can seem just like play with the words. But what I learned along my journey is that we are conditioned to do things and to work hard and to struggle and to believe that life is hard and challenging. But is it really?
Right. That's true. That's true.
So true.
So when you say who you are, so to speak, as opposed to what you do, what did you discover? Who are you?
So what I discovered is something that anyone can be, and it's love. I'm love. I come here and I come here to work on myself and evolve myself and just be growing, because that's what I feel like we came here for, to be free creative beings. And that's who I am being, and that's what I'm embodying now. And that's why the work part of the life, it's easy for me now because people look at me and it's so easy to resonate with me for my people.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will never understand, right?
Exactly.
But when people resonate with you because you're being yourself and not because you're wearing mask or you're doing things you think you should be doing, then it's just easier for everybody.
Right.
That is true.
So your clients that you have, are they coming to you for help with the same type of realization, or are the problems more day to day, so to speak?
That's a really great question. I feel that the first instinct why my clients come to me is because they look at me, they look at my life, and they say, I resonate with this. I want this. I want the freedom. I want the love. I want the spaciousness in my life. So they resonate with that. And then it's really day to day because my clients have unlimited access to me. Like, of course, there are boundaries, but on a Voxer. So it's the day-to-day things. It's a big things like, who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose? And all the clients, they come to me because they want to be helping other people. So it's not like, hey, I feel bored and I don't know what to do with myself. I don't attract these kind of people. The clients who come to me because they want to be helping other people. They want to be working online. They want to have their freedom, and they want to create conscious family.
Right. So basically, you're Tony Roberts, but the female version, if I could say that.
Exactly, right?
The best compliment ever. I love Tony. I love him. I remember when he was inspiring me at the beginning of my journey, when and not just him, but like, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, Joe Dispenza, all these beautiful, Les Brown. I met him in person. He's incredible. Jane Shetty. So when I saw these people or met these people, I'm like, wow, most of these people came from nothing and struggle and just the hardship at the beginning. I'm like, if they can do it, so can I. And I was always wondering, like, what would my story be, right? So you start to write your story based on yourself versus what am I expected to do? If I would do what I'm expected to do, I will stay in a small town in Czech Republic. Hence, that's where my accent is from.
Okay.
I would stay there. I would have probably 2-3 kids. I would be drinking my brains out because many people there just drink because they're doing job they hate. They're in relationship that it's unfulfilling. And I'm not saying everybody, but that's how it was when I was growing up. That's the reality that I was seeing. So if I would be doing all the things that generations before me did, I would be still sitting there. I wouldn't have my podcast. I wouldn't have my TV show. I wouldn't have international retreats. I would be there drinking my way out and just numbing myself.
Right. Absolutely.
True. That is true because that's probably one of the leading things is alcoholism, depression, and all that stuff because people was, like you said, they're stuck in that one little box. They would grow up in that one little box. And that's, I find for me, all over. It's not just the United States. That's a cultures around the world that's united.
Right.
And people get suppressed in this alcohol.
Yep.
Some people use drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go to abuse. I mean, so like, what are some of the steps you use to help people overcome some of those key things they get the knowledge? They say like some people every had a key thing they know what a person doing. And not I'm going down this road. Like, what can I do to prevent that going down that road? Like thinking key steps.
Yeah. And I love this question because it's really about like, how do we get out there, right? Like,
exactly.
I feel like each and every one of us went through that dark time, whether it's depression, anxiety, or just numbing through shopping, alcohol, drugs, or food. We all been there, right? Like when I was 18, I ran away from home because my stepfather was physically and mentally abusive. I ran into abusive relationship because I didn't know anything else. And when I was 18, I attempted suicide because I didn't want to be here. Mm-hmm. Because I was thinking, if this is it, I don't want it. So I feel that the real first step, it's realize, who are you? Like really, who are you and what do you stand for? What are your values? What are your unique propositions to this world?
Right.
Because the things that come to us easily, they meant to come easy. Like, are you an amazing listener? Are you an amazing chef? Are you an amazing parent? Are you great in giving advice? Are you great in cutting wood? Whatever it is. Like, there are things that we are doing naturally and we think it's too easy to be true. Like for me, like 7 years ago, I had a clarity call. Back then, I didn't even know that that's like a sales call, right? Like, with one mentor, and he said at the end of our call, when are you going to write a book and start coaching women? And back then I'm like, I can do that. Like I can.
Right.
My life, it's not in order. I'm a mess. My life, it's a mess. How could I tell anyone what to do? And look at me now. Like here I am sitting and I'm doing it and living it. So first, it's really realizing who are you? What do you stand for? What are your core values? What is your non-negotiable? For me, when I realized that my non-negotiable, it's loyalty, generosity, and growth, I had to take an inventory of my life
Right.
because I realized that I am not living it. I wasn't, not
That's
in my business, not in my work, not in my relationship. So I let go. I let go of my relationship. I let go of my first business, my clients. It was scary, but back then it was even scarier to be somewhere where I don't belong.
right.
So it will be challenging if you start to feel that you outgrown your family or your environment or your partner or your work. It can be challenging, but really imagine yourself. And I know this is extreme and we all heard it, but how many times do we really do that? Imagine you're on your deathbed. Are you going to be regretting that you didn't please your partner or your parents who are probably not there anymore? If they are, great for them, but most probably we're not going to worry about what would my boss say, what would my husband wife said. We will be worried like, did I lived enough, did I loved enough, did I do all these things, did I adventure, did I speak with the people that I want to speak. So I think that you really get to do this check within yourself. And a question that I ask my clients when we start working together is, if nothing ever changes in your life, are you okay with that?
Hmm.
What
Right.
would you say? I'm curious, gentlemen. What would you say if nothing ever changes? Are you okay?
Well, listen, I want to add some value to that because COVID has done that for a lot of things. I had a doctor friend that told me when this pandemic hit that either we're going to know somebody that died from it, or we're going to either die from it ourselves. It's going to be that severe. It's going to touch everybody. And I can tell you, when I had COVID, I thought that it was over for me. So your question is not a hypothetical question. It's a real life question. That what have I done enough? Have I loved enough? Have I lived enough? Have I done everything I was supposed to do that I needed to do to protect myself and my family? If I'm gone, how can my family carry on? What have I put in place? Is it enough? Have I put in place? You know what I mean? Like the money that I put away for kids, everything else, the life insurance, is it enough to get them to where they need to be without me? So those are real questions really that you know, I had to ask and answer and go back and check and reevaluate and make sure that it was or was not. And it's definitely real. So, I mean, to answer your question, yes, I have had that talk with myself. You know what I mean? It's definitely a real thing.
Yeah, I had to say it too. I had that same talk too, but it was kind of like more like a forced situation. Like you ignore it all the time. I ain't trying to hear it, get out my head type stuff. Till you on your deathbed in the hospital, the doctor walk up and tell you, you died.
Right.
You here. So you always have the same question. If I die, why am I still here? Why are we still talking then? I know I
Right.
ain't, man, you ain't what I want to see in heaven. That's for sure.
Right.
You know? But he said, like, no, what I mean is you reevaluate a lot of things you do in your life. And I tell you no lie, you think of a lot of things. You find out about a lot of people. You find out about everybody who's there for you, everybody who wasn't there for you, things you did in life that you want to go back and change. That's the thing what George said, something you look at, what legacy you want to leave behind. Did you leave a legacy? If you died, I died right then and there.
Yeah.
I had no legacy. I
Mm.
had nothing left behind. Maybe a 2 minute you said some memory about me. His name, Darren Frazier. That's all you can know. That's it. After that, it's done. I'm done. So answer your question, yes. I had a real deep conversation about that question.
And the thing about it is people don't really understand that. That's why I think COVID was a curse, but it was also a blessing. COVID was a reset because it,
Yeah.
it gave everybody the ability to recess, and it gave the whole world time to rest. If you look at what happened with COVID, for instance, in the first months, by the time they got done tracking it, air pollution went down because planes were not running.
Yep.
You know what I mean? People got to, when COVID first started, I started seeing fathers outside walking with their
Yep.
kids in the middle of the daytime. I'm like, wait, hold on. I've never seen this. Today's not Saturday, it's Sunday. What's going on? Today's like Monday. And they're walking up the block. And so we got time to catch up, even me. I mean, I had books that I had supposed to be written 15 years ago that were on the shelf that finally had to come out and be written, you know what I mean, to help and everything of that nature. So it was a blessing and it was a curse. The curse was we lost a lot of people that we loved just like that. You know, Christmases will never be the same, just because healthy people that we knew that were supposed to be here and watch our kids grow up and so forth and so on are gone. But for me, that motivates me because, like you said, I always go through these reevaluation stages of, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to cut out? And what, you know what I mean? What do I need to do to go forward? What's wasting my time? And what I found out is the number one thing, that the most important thing to me is time. You know, no matter what happens, no matter how much money you have in this world, time is one thing that you can't buy. When it's your time, it's your time. You just basically can't waste it. So I try to spend a lot of time maximizing my time. Do you find that the same revelation with your clients before COVID, during COVID, or now?
It's fascinating, I hear you, and I feel like also like what was happening in the world was also like dividing a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people who believe, a lot of people who don't believe, a lot of people like who have different opinions, right, about it, what is happening. And like you said, I see that as a blessing because so many people realize that the life they're living, the relationships they're in, the work they're in, it's not what they really want to be doing. Because
Right.
if you keep going just through the motions, then you will just stay in a safe place because so many people think like, oh, I should be thankful that I have a job. I should be thankful that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
However, it's just settling and not really living to their potential. So my business tripled last year in 2020, and it's because so many people realize I am not living what I'm meant to be living, and they put their fears on the side. People who were thinking about doing podcasts, thinking about doing YouTube videos, thinking about starting their business, all those people had time in their hand, and they're like, I want to do it now. What if now it's the only time that I have?
Right.
So for me, I saw so many people awakening from very deep sleep of just going through the motions into the possibilities. And for me, it was, like really interesting time to witness because it's just opened up so many hearts and eyes and people came together, That's what I'm
Yeah.
seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Right. COVID brought a lot of people together and apart.
Yep.
I think it's more like a reality check. George said all the time, I call it a reality check.
Mhm.
Now you realize that same person you were saying all the years, you were happy because you was apart and you just see each other, you cool. But being in the same room with that person, 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day, not going nowhere, can't go nowhere, can't get an escape, as they say, but actually stand there and take whatever it is, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That is, how do you get some of your clients to get over that fear of saying, why would that person for just a reason, but not because of love, not because maybe more like responsibility? Because some
You
people say,
talk about phrase the core divorce rate. Yeah, it has gone
yeah,
up.
it's very high, isn't it? You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to say this on loud, George. I ain't want to put my up. I ain't want to put a blast on George.
Oh man, tell the truth.
Okay. The divorce rate. The divorrate rate is fairly high. I'm going to say divorce rate. Jesus, I'm trying to save with some people sometimes.
That's
So how
all
do you
right.
help some of your clients? How do you help some of your clients get over that hip hop here of
Yes,
divorce rates and try to at least decrease it a little bit by instilling your knowledge into them and helping them be aware of some of the things and how to prevent it or how to somehow repair it over time.
that's right.
It's interesting. I feel that it empower so many people, empower them like they felt like enough, it's enough. Like I wanted more. So even if there were fears or barriers, they took the leap of faith because the thing is that we never experienced anything like this
Yeah.
before, so people didn't know if they will ever have a chance to start anything and do anything. So it was like really being close to that bed, and like you said, and I love that, am I living legacy? Because for me, if you would ask me like 5 years ago, I wouldn't, but now I can tell I did. And
Yeah.
I am. If I die today, I die happy. I'm happily married. I influence so many people in my business, but also the ripple effect. Like, for example, one of my clients, she's a lady in Bali who has a nonprofit organizations that is teaching disadvantaged kids English. We've been there with them 2 weeks and we were teaching them. So I know if I die, I taught her enough. So now she has over 40 schools, and they're raising money for rice for Bali, and they're building houses for people who were literally living on a floor in a jungle. So if I die, she will continue that. We don't have to be the one who is doing the things, but we can be the one who inspires and influence the people around us.
Right.
And then it's so freeing because like personally, I love visiting, but I don't want to live in a jungle. I don't want to be building those houses like every day, but you can be the one who shares your knowledge. Yes.
True.
Yes.
Yeah, true though.
See.
I'm gonna tell you the 32 though. When I was growing up, I met this one guy. He was a homeless guy, and he was smart as heck, brilliant guy. And one day, I had a math problem. Couldn't figure out for nothing in the world. Why would I ask a bum? He don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. He always spit all day. If you know something, he be somewhere else, right? Kind of found out the man was a nuclear scientist. And where he was running from was responsibility. His family had drew this man so bad, depression, that he didn't want any responsibility whatsoever. He gave everything up just to be free, just to have a free spirit of mind. And to me, that's drastic. Just to get free, to give up everything you work for, just to be free.
Right.
Like, do you have a client that's similar to that or on the same road to that? And how do you prevent it from going that way?
So I don't have any clients who would say like screw it all, I'm out of this, right? Like out of this society and it's too much responsibility. But I feel like my clients are, I feel like it's like a beautiful balance because they're spiritual, right? They either believe in God or universe, right? In higher power, but they're also grounded and feeling the responsibility of, I know I'm here to serve. I know I'm here to help. So I don't have these extremes, but I feel like we all, and I said it at the beginning, we all came here to be free and creative.
Right.
And if you're not living your truth, then it feels really heavy. I used to have like 4 side hustles and working really hard. And I worked 7 days a week and it was a lot and my body was suffering. I was all the time unwell. Now I'm working 2-3 days a week and I have 6-figure online coaching business that I love. And if I get to take 2 weeks off, like I take a few days off because I was getting married, I'm taking 2 weeks off because I'm doing 10-day silent meditation, I have that freedom. It's because I built it on my values and boundaries. So my clients want me to grow and invest because whatever I invest, I teach them.
That's right.
So you get to build the boundaries, but also like ask for help. I couldn't be where I am if I wouldn't have my team. It's not possible to do it all alone. And sometimes we don't want to bother people. We don't want to seem that we're weak, right? And then we don't ask. And that's when you're overwhelmed. And that's when you're like, okay, screw it all. I'm out. I cannot do this anymore.
Right. So tell the fans a little bit about yourself and your team when I say that, because you're the brand itself, but I know you have a lot of people standing behind you. Yeah. What would your seminar be like if we went on like a retreat? What would that experience be like?
It's fascinating because I do host retreats. I do host like weekend retreats here in Las Vegas. And then we are doing international like Costa Rica, Mexico, Bali. And each of our seminars or retreats, it's different. The last one we did was called True Love in Tulum. We did it for women to learn how to attract the true love, recognizing the first love. It has to be within them. So it's beautiful, but I always bring in people and other facilitators, whether it's energy healers, sound bath healing, like bringing in also the divine, right? Like we don't have to do it all alone. So those are the retreats that I'm doing. But my team, it's amazing, because I remember over 3 years ago, I wrote my ideal day, and I wrote there like my dreams, and I was dreaming about team who would support my vision and my mission. And back then I was girl for everything, doing everything by myself, doing my podcast, editing it, doing my website, like all of the details, pictures, everything. Now I have a videographer on a team, I have a photographer on a team, I have 2 VAs, I have a personal assistant, and I have a chef operational officer, because I don't want to be dealing with the long-term planning and details anymore.
Right.
So I am super thankful for these people, because I let them be in their gifts. I hired my VA, and first what I always do is I ask them what is their human design, which is, it's, if you never heard of it, it's just like it's like a numerology and astrology and like chakras all in, like depending on your date of birth, so I can understand what type of personality you are. So I know how to speak to you and how to treat you and how to have a good communication with you and leadership. And then I asked them what comes to you the easiest and what really lights you up. I had a VA who was helping me with my messaging on Instagram and outreach. But then I realized she absolutely loved to be creative and she loves graphics. I'm like, okay, stop doing that and go do graphics. And she's doing such a beautiful job on my Instagram feed. Like she's bringing my vision and ideas into life. And that's how we can support other people to connect with who you are, your vision, but let them live what lights them up.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
Sometimes
true.
we get so caught up in everything we forget that sometimes people just come to us as employees and they have their own visions and own dreams and own skill set that would make you better. And sometimes we just become narrow-minded and focused. So I'm glad you actually said that. Last question for you real quick. I know we're running short on time. What are some of the real issues that you're seeing your clients coming to you with, like in the last 6 months to a year?
So in that short period of time, I feel like a lot of it was feelings of unworthiness and feelings of stuckness, like feeling stuck where they are, whether it's their job, their relationship, and not knowing how to move forward. So that was that. But also a lot what was coming up was family dynamics because of the lockdown and everything, we're locked with the family or we cannot go and see family. There was a lot of family dynamics where people are realizing now that they had a time to sit with their family and themselves, that there is a lot of pressure from family members on who do they think that their kids should be, right? Like whether it's religious, whether it's belief, whether it's job, whether it's relationship. And I see a lot of suffering because it's so easy to see it from outside. But when you're inside of it and you love your parents, but you don't agree with their religion or with their beliefs, it's heartbreaking.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm going to say, wait, too, what are some of the, I know everyone says it starts from the youth, then goes into being adults. Like, what are some of the tips you give younger ladies to help them along the line of going into adulthood that prevent a lot of things like relationship, finding a first relationship, the right job they want to have, or do they want to work for somebody?
That's
and
right.
What tip you have for them?
I love that question because just recently, a couple months ago, I accepted a client who is 14 years old. Her mom is my client, and she told me, I don't want my daughter to end up like me.
Right.
So she started to work with me, and the things that I'm, because it's a little bit different when you're speaking with, 20, 30, 40-year-old adult versus when you're speaking with someone who is just developing and like blossoming, right? So the things that I'm going through with her, it's learning to trust herself, learning to set boundaries, learning to say no, because very often people who come to me are people pleasers, been there, done that, right? Recovering one. And so really understanding the who we are at such a young age, it's what's going to allow us to build a life that is true to us.
Right. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I like that response.
I like that one.
Really quick, tell everybody where they can find you on social media, your website, everything of that.
So my favorite place is Instagram. That's where I hang out the most. So it would be just my name, Petria Kolibova, and then my website is the same, petriakolibova.com. And for ladies who wanna, create more abundance and freedom in their life, I have a Facebook group called Unapologetically Abundant Women. And that's where I do my trainings or guest trainings. That it's a free group. Those are my favorite places.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, listen,
I do my favorite speech. Can I do my speech first? Do a speech first, Joe?
Go ahead, Phrase. Go ahead.
Everyone, I do my favorite speech is welcome to the family.
Absolutely. Listen, we greatly appreciate you being on the show.
Yes.
Breaking that knowledge down and sharing that knowledge in our community and things of that nature. So we thank you.
Thank you so much for today. I appreciate you and all your work and wisdom you're sharing. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Man.
The show, Phrase.
Another banger, George.
Another banger.
George, banger.
Yeah. I'm speechless because she was dropping pearls, and I like those shows when they drop pearls like that because a lot of people don't get it. Well, I mean, what I mean by don't get it, they gloss over some of the things that are key, important things in your life that can change on the drop of a dime. You know what I mean? And it's just good to hear that there are people out there, and coaches and healers that are out there that are able to recognize that and help rectify that situation. So it's definitely all good.
That is true. Hey, this is Phrase.
And that was Real Talk with George and Frazier. Peace.
Peace.